Hello and welcome to episode 35 of Shared Discovery, the show and podcast dedicated to sharing the many exciting and enjoyable aspects of games and gaming. I'm your host Victor, and today I'm once again joined by Xander. How you doing?
I'm very tired.
I think it's that time of year.
And I have a job now,
Yes.
so that does not help.
Wow, we're seeing the timeline of your episodes.
Yeah.
Just moving from chilling, getting a job, you're gonna have a car soon.
No,
Nah.
I haven't even started my license.
Okay. So today,
But now I have magic money.
yeah, well, that's good that you mentioned that, because today we are doing a magic episode.
Wow.
And we definitely planned this
Definitely.
in advance.
Definitely didn't come up with this like 2 hours ago.
So today what we're doing is we got all the creature types in Magic. We've compiled the list here. We're going to be talking about our favorites, which one stands out, which creature types are unique to Magic, which creature types are unique to other franchises, right?
But our collabs.
But our collabs, and we're just going to go through and and maybe go over some of these weird creature types that you've never heard of, right? Because there are joke ones and
What's the number again?
So we'll get into that. We'll save that for later, okay? So what games have you been playing lately?
I just bought Pokemon Violet.
Okay.
I've been doing that a lot. I bought the DLC as well, but I haven't gotten to the point in the game where I can do that.
Okay. Yeah, because at this time of recording, the second DLC just came out in December.
Like a week ago.
Yeah, so you had Scarlet first,
Yes.
and you're playing through Violet now.
Yes, because Violet was the one I really wanted. Because
Yeah.
I was like, robot lizard motorcycle thingy.
So why did you get Scarlet then?
It was the one I could borrow from a friend.
That makes
and then
sense.
it's the one my little brother got.
Okay, so now you own your own copy.
I bought it on my Switch.
Perfect.
It's staying on there.
Perfect. Okay, how are you liking it?
I love it. I got the rarest shiny in the entire game.
That's true.
In the first
This is great. This is a cool story.
40 minutes,
Yeah.
maybe hour of gameplay. Actually, that game is long. But I did a terror raid, and just out of the blue, I completed it, and I'm like, is that shiny? It was a shiny Jigglypuff.
Which is kind of lame as a shiny, but in raids, the shiny odds are even higher.
And can't be
lower,
changed.
And you can't affect them at all. They're rarer than regular shinies, which is so funny because the day before I realized we were both like, I wonder where your first shiny is going to be.
Yeah.
So that was super.
Yeah.
That was cool. You come back the next day, got a Jigglypuff. It's
From a raid.
From a raid. What? So that's really awesome.
Yeah, and I also have found possibly my new favorite Magic format.
Yes.
Tiny leaders.
Okay, you were telling me about this, and it's so funny. You're like, you didn't know? I'm like, it's not a commander. I don't care.
It's smaller commander.
Smaller commander. Tell them about it.
So it's commander, which is like you have a deck and a commander, but it's a 50 card deck instead of a 100 card deck.
Okay, yeah.
That includes your commander. You have 25 life.
Instead of 40.
It also, I forgot to mention this earlier, it has the brawl rule of a planeswalker can be your commander.
That's really cool.
Any planeswalker.
That is really cool.
And every card has to be 3 mana or lower.
Nice. Okay, that's super fun. And you're telling me about this. That sounds like a nice, fun, cheap format to get into. And it's 50 cards. It can't be
But it has
too expensive.
such a small community.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's because Commander's so big, and then most people do what I did and said, that's not Commander. I'm not playing that.
Or modern or standard.
Yeah, those are expensive formats too, because those are 4 of 60 card decks, so that can be more expensive. But I like the casual nature of what you're talking about.
For Ruinous Ultimatum. Ooh.
Oh man, that'd be rude. Personally, for me, we've been playing Magic this week. That's honestly what made me have Magic on the brain. Been playing D&D. Still, I think this campaign I played last weekend is the longest I've been in a campaign. 12 sessions. So we've been really having a great time continuing that. Got some cool gifts. My cousin made me these skill cards because I'm playing a custom class right now, so the Wizards doesn't have any official cards. So she made them, printed them out, laminated them, everything. I was like, okay, I didn't know we were doing Christmas presents. So I had to scramble, and now I'm like, I gotta get her something. Oh, man. And so I ended up just cooking. But that was such a cool gift, right? So we've been playing D&D. I've been...
Yeah. That
Got a bowl picks.
And this amazing sign.
Yeah, what does that sign say for the listeners?
My sense of humor may hurt your feelings.
You know, and the friend that got you that gift knows you very well.
Yes. and the friend that got me that.
Yes, yes. So I've been practicing some speed running too, because we're always talking about it around here, and I said, you know, it's probably about time that I get going. So the speed run I've been practicing, the world record's 3 hours. So I've been practicing the first 25 minutes or so, trying to get better at the game for that. And then Bayonetta, talking to Ron about that. That game is
not for children.
It is not, but it is wild, and I love that it exists. So
don't we all?
I guess we better do a little bit of housekeeping. Remind everyone that if you like the show, you like what we're doing, check us out on Instagram, check us out on YouTube, follow us there so you can see what we're up to, especially on YouTube, because that's where we're going to be posting our D&D gameplay real soon. Yeah. Very soon. We're almost there, which is super cool. So
and
check that out.
Then the bonus episode.
Exactly, because we have a bonus D&D episode that we did to practice.
So
it was a one shot, and then we're gonna have
goblins.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a continuing D&D campaign going, and I guess by this time you've probably already seen it because we're after that in the timeline. But yeah, go there, check that out. Also, check out our Magic episodes because we had a 2-part Magic episode where Ron and I went over what magic is and why you should go into. So we'll talk a little bit about what it is today, but we're talking about creatures, so recommend going there. And if you want to reach us directly with any comments, questions, concerns, you can email us at shareddiscoveryshow@gmail.com. Yeah. I think that cleans the house.
Yeah.
Pretty clean.
Yeah.
Okay. Question.
The floor's not.
Question for you. There are... Well, yeah, I'll just ask you off the top. I said we'll get to that. How many creature types do you think there are?
339.
Oh, well, that's wrong. Ding, ding, ding. So it's interesting. I counted the list, and that actually, this is the most recent list at the time of recording, and this change hasn't been implemented into Scryfall yet, but Nagas, snake people, are actually being moved to snake. So technically, we have 338 that I know of, and I'm sure someone might correct me and be like, actually, is not a creature type, but it's on the list.
It's on the list for
so we're probably not
reason.
Gonna just sit here and read you the list, but we're gonna go through some of our favorite creature types. We're gonna say like what we like about them, where they come from, how our experiences playing with them, and just talk about this weird list of how this has expanded since Alpha. But we should first go over a little bit of what Magic is.
It's a card game.
It is a card game.
Where you, like these.
Yep. So...
we don't have...
We're not playing today, so...
I mean, we are, but...
Yeah, put them back. Come on. Well, I gotta be careful having stuff on the table when you're around. Yeah. So we're gonna put this deck on the ground here. But Magic the Gathering, we have the 2-part episode here. It's a card game that's been created by Richard Garfield, 1993, and it's 30 years old at this point. And you are wizards called planeswalkers trying to defeat each other with magic spells and creatures that you summon. So that part right there is really important. Creatures that you summon. So as a planeswalker, you use this magic, you rip something from its own dimension. It's like Citizen. You rip a citizen away from its life and make it fight your battle for you. So in Magic the Gathering, you are the goal of the game is to drop your opponent's life points to 0. And the most common way to do that is with creatures who have a power and a toughness, and to attack with them and get their life down.
There are other ways.
Yes, I said the most common way.
Yes.
I chose my words. You nitpicker. I chose my words carefully.
Win conditions.
So the most common way is to attack with creatures and have their power drop the life total. And so whenever, especially teaching new players, whenever you are playing the game, you're not going to have a game where creatures aren't there. right? Even in Commander, even if you have a deck with 0 creatures in it, the Commander is always there, right?
Yeah.
So creatures, the bedrock of what makes Magic work, right? Yeah. So anything to add there on what Magic is?
It's a weird game, man.
It's a lot. It's 30 years of cards.
What collabs are coming up again?
Yes, there's... Oh, man. It's good. So it started with Godzilla cards, right? Back in 2019.
Really cool.
And before that, Magic had a rule where they didn't do collabs with any other community. But with the Godzilla from there forward, they've been doing crossovers with... Godzilla, The Walking Dead,
Doctor Who,
Assassin's Creed,
Fallout.
Oh, that's a good one. My Little Pony. That's
a weird one.
They did a little bit of that before when Hasbro got it. But
those cards are also really expensive.
Transformers. They have Transformers as
really
well.
Cool. Doctor Who.
You did say Doctor Who.
I really like the Doctor Who cards.
Oh, they had Fortnite. They had a Fortnite one.
Those were also really weird cards.
And they're really, and so it's kind of
Tomb Raider.
Yep. Jurassic Park.
we just have Jeff Goldblum, the card.
There were literally 5 Jeff Goldblums, I'm pretty sure, like different arts of him, which is so funny. And people love that. People love that stuff. And so there are mixed opinions on whether people like those creature types or like the additions to the game, the crossovers. It's called Universes Beyond. There are mixed opinions on that, but we're not talking about that today. We're bringing that up to say like some of these weird creature types aren't coming from Magic, they're coming from Warhammer.
Yeah, that's another one. Astaris.
Star Days, right? And so it's really cool how it's expanded. And just to back up a little bit here, Magic actually wanted to do this for a long time, where they wanted to make a crossover with games. They with other games, and they had this goal, and they made a more simplified version of the game. And it wasn't Magic the Gathering at the time, but it was called something different that I'm forgetting off the top. But their first crossover was with Conan the Barbarian. And that product didn't go anywhere, but this is the goal. They want it to be a super game where whatever franchise you like, it's there for you and you can play under the umbrella of Magic the Gathering, right? And if you like Walking Dead, you like Fortnite, Fallout, whatever, it gets new people into the game, right? A lot of new people actually came to the game because of Walking Dead. So
yeah, that makes sense. Walking Dead's a really popular show.
Very popular, absolutely. So we're not going to be talking about the pros and cons of that. We're just going to be talking about the cool heckin' creature types. So at the top here, Magic the Gathering has 5 colors, which I'm sure if you're watching this episode, you already went back and watched those others, and you know. But there are actually 2 iconic creature types for each color. So there are a small one and a large one. So I'm going to go through each color, and I want you to guess. And we'll start with small first. So we're going to go in Wooburg order, the color order that the game uses. So white. What do you think the small creature? Small being it costs a little bit of mana.
Human.
Yep, you got it right out of the gate. So it is human, but for the longest time they didn't want to have human as a creature type. They were really weird about it. They're like, that's weird, but you are the human. Why would we put human? So before that, it was actually soldier. But now they have, and they made a change back in the day where they used to think of creature types as your class, as your profession. Now they think of it as like your race and your profession. So you will see human soldier, where in the past it used to be soldier. So
Dragon Bard. That's a really cool card.
It's a really sweet card. I like that guy. I think gives initiative, and then gives something menace and haste. I don't remember. It's in here. It's in there. We won't look though. So what is the iconic large white creature type?
Let me think. Angels.
Yeah, you nailed it. Like how could
I have a black-white deck that I love.
And when I say iconic, these are creature types that have been in the game since Alpha. That's 1993.
Except for human, right? And that's why I made the caveat there that soldier, but now Wizards thinks of it as human. Yeah. So, but yeah, all the way back to Sarah Angel.
was the first one.
Wasn't that like really overpowered?
It was very, very overpowered for the first few years of the game.
Power creep.
Yeah, but it not anymore. It's a 5-cost creature that's a 4/4 flying lifelink. Like, there are things that are stronger. It's actually held up pretty well, but that card, there were decks. What they did, what they would have a bunch of counter spells, bunch of card draw, and then they would put down a Sarah Angel, and it had vigilance, so it could attack and block, and then they would just counter everyone's things until they died. It was really rude, really rude. Like, you don't play the game, I play the game with my angel.
Yeah.
So these iconic creature types you're going to see across all the sets, and they're going to keep making them over and over. Another really iconic one is Acroma.
Oh, I think that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah,
that, like, has every ability.
Yeah. Well, let me see if I can remember. It has haste, flying, first strike, protection from red, protection from black, vigilance. Did I already say haste?
You did. That was the first thing you said. It has a lot.
It has a lot of stuff on it. It's actually the only white creature in the game that has haste.
Huh. I mean,
Mono white creature.
You can give creatures.
Yeah, but it's the only mono white creature. Very interesting. Okay, let's move on. Blue. Tell me about small blue. Iconic creature.
This is the one I don't really know much about, but I'm gonna go out the gate and say Merperson.
Yes, it's called Merfolk in the game.
Okay.
But yes.
That is a very professor answer.
That is a professor answer. That is the professor from Solarian Community College. That is his favorite creature type, and he will remind you in every single video.
You will.
Which is awesome.
Even on other channels.
Even on other, and I love that. I love that someone has been grabbed so much by this creature type.
He's great.
Okay, the big blue iconic.
Dragons?
Not dragons.
Okay. I'm gonna say Leviathans.
Then. They're kind of like dragons. They do fly.
Drakes? No.
Drakes are usually like 2/2s, pretty small. I'll give you a hint, so you can look at the list. It starts with an S.
It's not shark. There's not.
No,
really
it's not. There's not that many.
Love the shark cards.
The shark. Sharknado makes a bunch of shark tokens. But Leviathan is a pretty good guess.
Leviathan.
Or Kraken is a guess, but at SP, what does that narrow it down?
Yeah.
Well,
Sponge.
There's a sponge creature type. What? No, SpongeBob, get out of this game.
Spawn, Spectre, Shapeshifter, Sphinx.
Don't you dare will a SpongeBob crossover into this game.
Spike,
I will quit.
Splinter.
SPH?
Sphinx?
Yes.
Is it what?
Yeah, Sphinx is the big iconic creature type for blue. And this is another one that could be argued like Kraken or sea creatures, but Sphinxes are the big ones, Dragon. Especially story-wise. Yeah. Why are you saying dragon? Let's go on to red. What's the big one for red?
Dragon, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay.
There are.
It makes sense for both if you play the game.
No, it doesn't.
There's some pretty iconic blue dragons.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
It makes sense to me. Okay.
It makes sense to you, but it doesn't if you look at the distribution of how many are in the colors. Because there are a few, but there are many red dragons. Okay, what's the low costed iconic red creature type?
The one that you can make infinite of with a single creature. Goblins.
Goblins. Ding 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 ding.
Do you know which creature I'm talking about?
Cranko, Mompox.
Yeah, my friend told me the other day that he made a new commander deck, and I was like, "Oh, what's the commander?" He just shows me a picture of Cranko, and I'm like,
"Yay!" And for those of you that aren't aware, but I'm sure you're aware, because Cranko's in the top 10 most popular commanders of all time. It is a 3/3 goblin for 4 mana that taps to make goblins equal to the number of goblins you control.
And then you can do that.
It just gets exponentially more and more goblins.
Which is why he's so good.
I like to put him in a red and green deck so you can get Seedborn Muse that lets you untap during everyone's upkeep. So you can keep tapping to make goblins, which is super cool.
No, that's an artifact that says artifacts you control. Untap during everyone's melee.
Yeah, that's Unwinding Clock, so that's artifacts. But
that is pretty cool.
There's a lot of cheeky things you can do with Cranko. Okay, so that's red. Tell me about black.
Vampire. is one of them.
Vampire is the small one, but this one is actually shared with another one.
Oh, gee.
Yes, so vampire. You nailed
Zombie.
that. But it is vampire and zombie.
Okay.
Both of those were in the game since the beginning, and over time, is like in Innistrad, they started going crazy on the vampires.
Is such a cool set.
Yeah.
One of my commanders in my black white deck. There's like 6 commanders in there. One of them is
what is that?
Edgar Charmed Groom.
Yes.
Which is from the second version of that set. And he has a really cool ability.
He's really sweet. And so vampires have, over time, melded in, but unlike the humans, they didn't overtake the soldier. They just were like, zombies have not stopped being popular, so it's just both.
¿Por qué no los dos?
It just depends on who you ask. Yeah. Vampire, zombies, whatever. Okay, the big demon.
Okay, yeah.
I just spoiled it.
Yeah. Good job, Vic.
This is why we prepare notes and don't go off the top. Okay, move it. Just move past it. Just green.
Okay.
Small and then big. What's green?
All right, green. Big is gonna be dinosaur, or something like that.
No. It is not, because the issue with dinosaur is that's multicolored. It's not centered in only one color. Okay. So when you think about iconic...
Tree folk.
Tree folk's a really good guess, but it is not tree folk.
Turtle probably might be smaller.
And then turtles would be blue, are mostly in blue. Because you think, like, blue has the sea creatures. They have, like, the crabs.
Horse.
And the squid.
I'm gonna... Gus.
It's so funny. We need to look up Gus. There are joke sets that just put names as creature types. This one.
Elves. Wait, elves.
Yes, it's elves. I was about to say Lord. Just think about Lord of the Rings. And so yes, that's the small one. What is the big one?
Well, actually, wait, what? Elves. Okay.
I think elf is the creature type, and then elves is the joke creature type, because I'm thinking
child
of that's another joke type. That's the card that's costs one. It costs a half of a white mana and has power and toughness half. And I've listened to Mark Rosewater talk about that. He's like, he regrets fractions a lot. He's like, that made a lot of people confused, but it was funny. They tried it. Okay. I'll narrow it down again for you. H.
Hippogriff?
No. Hippogriffs are typically in the white.
Hydra.
It is Hydra, yes. Because you got to think about big power, and Hydras just grow and grow and grow.
Right? That one.
So these are
Mana Gorger.
Mana Gorger Hydra is just rude. It is
every time everyone plays a card, it goes up by 1. Or it gets a +1/+1 counter.
For a 1/1, and then anytime anyone, even you, cast a spell, it gets bigger. So usually by the time it gets back to you, it's at least a 6/6. Then it gets back to you again, it's like a 15/15. It's really rude.
Yeah. Okay. It's a really rude card.
Bonus points. The game hasn't identified a creature type, iconic creature type for colorless, but can you give me a guess?
Artifact creature.
Artifact is a card type, not a creature type.
Well,
so
what is automaton?
It is an artifact that I think would probably be identified.
Autobot.
Autobots
roll
It's kind of like that, kind of.
Letter.
So I will say it's G and C. So these I think are kind of interchangeable. I'll say one, and then we'll see if you can guess the one.
Say the C one.
That is G. So construct. This is a creature type
golem.
that you always see. Exactly, golem. You either see golems and constructs all the time. I would say Eldrazi, but they don't make Eldrazi anymore because they break things. And they made like
15/15, unblockable, not able to be countered.
It's not unblockable. It has flying, which that's kind of unblockable.
Ward 10.
That is the Tarask. that has Ward 10.
Whatever.
It has Protect.
You know what I mean. It
Yes.
has...
Emrakul is 15-15. Annihilator 6, which means when it attacks,
that's what
you
it
have
was,
to
Annihilator.
The player has to sacrifice 6 permanent. Protection from instants. It's just very, very.
By the way, we're
card.
talking about the banned version of
that's
this
the bad
card.
one. The other one
which
is also rude. The other one is 13 for 13-13, and its cost is reduced by the number of spells in your graveyard. But the rude part, I'm probably messing that up, exact wording, but the rude part is when you cast it, you gain control of someone else's next turn.
Oh yeah. So that's the not banned version,
That's
by the way.
Not banned version, and that's rude. That's really rude.
I mean, it's not Infinity Elemental. Just like,
Oh man.
Infinity Elemental is like my favorite card
Yep.
ever.
That's what we should say. When we say joke cards, for those of you that don't know, they are unsets. So that means they have traditionally in the past have had a silver border, and they're not legal in any formats.
Gamer.
Gamer's one of those.
Avatar, technically.
Clown, I think.
Child.
Yeah.
Employee.
The. Gus.
Gus.
Yeah. So
We
there.
need to check what Gus is.
I do want to check, but we'll get back to it. We should just post that. We should just post a picture of Gus out context on Instagram. Look for that Gus post.
It's probably going to be a bit back.
Teddy seems like one to me. And you just kind of look through it, but at this point, it's like I don't know what is real and what's not because of the universes beyond.
Oh yeah, there is also that one wizard uncard that when you play it, you pick a word, and then anytime anyone says that word, it gets a +1/+1 counter.
Yes.
Squirrel.
Yeah, that's the
references.
gotcha mechanic. So the gotcha mechanic also Mark regrets this too. This mechanic, but it will give a stipulation. So there's one that's called Creature Guy, and if it's in your graveyard and any of your opponents say creature or guy, you can say gotcha and get it back to your hand.
Kill, maim, burn.
And there's a lot of those, and he regrets that mechanic because it says you should never try to make people play the game that they don't in a way they don't want to. And not talking, people usually want to talk when they play the game because what would happen is like, fine, I'm just not going to talk then.
Thing is, if everyone plays with an undeck, everyone's gonna have those cards.
Yeah.
So everyone's gonna be fine with it.
So I thought it'd be fun here. Let's just kind of go by letter and just pick our favorites, our standout ones from each letter. And let's start with A. What stands out to you from A?
I'm tempted to say one of two.
Obviously, Angel. We talked about Angel. And Angels
Angel.
are iconic. Those stand out to me. I really like those. Another thing with this list, what I really like about Magic creature types, is that these creature types are inspired from Dungeons and Dragons, Lord of the Rings, but they also have made a lot of their own creature types for their stories. Right? So think one of those examples is Aetherborn. They made this creature type specifically for one of their planes, and that's the only place you see that. Same thing later on with Mir. These are their little metal boys that exist on this one plane.
And they're precious.
And they're precious. They're one of my favorite creature
They're
types.
all like ones.
And then you have Atogs, which are little, I don't even know what to describe them. They're like tooth monsters, like Muppets. They're really weird looking, but every single one sacrifices and eats a thing. So they're is Atog, the red Atog, you sacrifice an artifact to increase its power, and each one will eat something. You sacrifice something to get bigger. So that's their
Sacrifice
own
the
creature type.
child.
Yeah, and then they have
That's what it's useful for.
oh god. And that's what's so funny about Magic too, is you can get into those weird situations where you say sentences like, my 15 squirrels block your Eldrazi, your 15 Eldrazi, and they kill it. You're like, wait, what? 15 squirrels? No, I put boots
I didn't say what mine
on
was
my
for
squirrel. Right? And so
Oh,
you
I
get
thought you were saying-
so these creature types, they create attachments for people. They make the games memorable, and they help tell the story.
Oh yeah.
And so, art. I just saw art creature type.
Favorite for A is a joke, Alicorn, which is a My Little Pony.
Is it really? I was wondering what that was.
Only it's Alicorn is a mix between a unicorn and a Pegasus.
Oh, okay.
The only reason I know this is because my little sister watched My Little Pony all the time.
Sure. See, that's so funny. I was like, I don't even know what that is. So I'm glad that you bring that up. But these creature types, they all range from like set dressing. So you have like antelopes and apes, just the animals where they are, to main really serious things like advisor, right?
Dreadnought.
Right, and so they're
Donkey.
And then Avatar, and so these will set the scene and allow wizards to tell a story, but also allow players to tell a story. So let's move on to B here. What stands out to you from B?
Beholders.
Beholders, yes.
Holy, those are so good.
Yes, and since Wizards also does Dungeons and Dragons, they had a couple of Dungeons and Dragons sets. They had a Baldur's Gate one and a Forgotten Realms one.
Which is non-universes beyond.
We got a lot of creature types that were only in D&D. Like, we had some that were inspired, but Beholder was one that directly come from there, so which is super cool.
We need a Skyrim.
I think they didn't make Dragonborn because it's just a dragon, and the reason for that, sometimes they don't make those super specific creature types like that, because then they won't work with old cards. Because if you made it Dragonborn, it wouldn't work with cards that reference dragon. Okay. You know? But to me, B has a lot of good set dressing, like badgers, bats, beast,
balloon,
bear. I would think beast is probably that second tier iconic.
Wait, baddest and biggest. Baddest and biggest from that one card.
Oh yeah, BFM. It's a 99 uncard. It's two cards put together.
How many mana did you say?
15 black mana.
What is this? Exodia?
Big furry monster is its name. And so it's the biggest, baddest monster. Is that its creature type? Yes. The biggest, baddest. And so because of that, because that's in the type line of the card, now the is a creature type.
Biggest,
baddest. And what's funny about this, baddest and biggest, they have a comma after them. So they're the only two.
So they really stand out in this list.
They're the only two that have commas in them. Another one of my personal favorites that is a magic specific creature type is the brushwag. It's just a little like rodent guy that's in a bundle. It's like in a bush, and the flavor text is like, we don't know if it is a bush or if that's part of it or if it goes into that. So you don't know if it's a living bush or not. So I really like that. Okay, C, what stands out to you here?
Child.
Yep.
But
I like
I'm not going to say that.
I like cow.
Coward.
It's so funny. I just really of this game of really silly, crazy things, I just love that there are things like chickens and cows.
Yeah. I'm going to say for C, though, Cybermen, which, if you didn't know, is a Doctor Who thing. That's going to show up.
What are
they? Human stuff. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
human stuffed in a robot suit.
Okay.
The human is dead, by the way.
Oh, interesting. So is the robot suit like powered by the dead human? Crazy.
And it's a hive mind.
Wow, Doctor Who's wild.
Doctor is really wild.
They added a lot of creature types from there.
Oh, yeah, I love that set.
There's so many, and then if you look at this list, there's a lot of fantasy things. And you have centaurs, and cephalid is one of their own unique ones, which is an octopus person.
Cockatrice.
Yep, that's a chicken monster, which is so funny.
I wonder where that one...
Chimera.
Chimeras are really cool.
And then we already talked about Citizen, just like how normal that is.
Go up by 2, child.
Yeah, you have, I'm probably saying this wrong, but Chitan? That's a Warhammer creature type. Yeah. Right?
There's also capybara.
Camel, capybara, caribou, cat. Oh, wait, how could we forget about cats and dogs?
Oh,
cats one of the biggest creature types in the game.
That's such a big one.
Yeah.
And there's so many cat cards that are really good. There's so many dog cards. And the cat cards aren't exclusively like little fluffy pet things. They're also like furries.
Yeah. And they have humanoid cat creatures like what are they called in D&D? I can't remember that race, but anyway, what I will say is if you get anything from this, is that all the variation in the creature types allows every player to find something that they like and build around. And these creature types have been so popular from the beginning. And it started with these cards called Lords. So you had like Goblin King, and that would say all of your goblins get +1/1, and Mountain Walk, and then you'd have what is that, Merfolk? Merfolk of the Pearl Trident, I think, where all your Merfolk get +1/+1, and Island Walk. And the developers early in the game didn't think that people would like tribal that much. So.
Oh, I love tribal.
And I guess I should mention this here is Wizards is changing the word tribal, which has been referred to a deck that has a lot of a creature type. They're moving it into typal. So that
I'm still gonna call it tribal.
So that's their phrasing, and they said like this is what they have had meetings with people, and have just thought for inclusivity they should change the name, but they understand if after 30 years of using the word tribal, they understand people are going to use it.
Still going to use the word tribal because that's what I do.
And there's a card type also called tribal. They moved that into kinship cards, something like that. Yeah.
Kinship?
Kindred cards.
So we're going to have kindred instants.
Mm-hmm. It used to be tribal instant. Now it'll be kindred instead of tribal. So that's a distinction that's changed there. But all right, let's get down to the D's. Of course, we already said dogs.
Dalek.
And Dalek. What are those?
Dalek are another suit creature, but they're these little octopus things that are inside this robot suit and can one-shot pretty much anything.
Okay. I'm assuming that's come up a few times in the show with main characters.
I don't think a single main character has died to one.
Really? Okay.
I think the Doctor has been shot a few times, but they've always come back.
They're fine. They're God or whatever. Of course, we said demon, and then you have devils. What's really interesting is when the game came out, they had to take demons. Maybe I'm mixing up the order of this, but they had to take either demons or devils out because people are like, that's a satanic game. Get rid of it. So I think they had to get rid of demons, and now we have Doom. And that's where devils came from. You got donkeys. D has a lot of iconic. You have demons and dragons and
Dianosaurs
and druids and dryads. And when we talk about druids too, I missed cleric, but they have classes. Think about D&D. They moved to having your race and then your class. You have druids and things like that.
Right below, kinda, is dwarf.
Yeah, exactly. So really iconic races from across the game. And me as a D&D player, if I was trying to get someone into Magic, it's like, what do you like about D&D? And they'd be like, I really like dwarves. Let's make you a dwarf deck, right?
I really like goblins.
Okay, E. Obviously, egg stands out. I don't know what the
Elemental?
Oh, yeah. So why'd you put a question mark? Why'd you add inflection there?
I think that's Infinity Elemental.
I think so. So there is Elemental, and then right below that, there's Elemental with a question.
Elemental? And I brought it up earlier. Infinity Elemental is an uncard.
Yep.
That is power, or I'll go with toughness first. Toughness 5, power infinity.
It's super fun.
High 3,000.
Goodbye.
I mean, I'm gonna die too, but
who cares?
That's how you take care of these cards.
That's how you take care
but
of
it's an uncard, it's silver border.
Yep.
But
so,
rule 0.
Rule 0 means before the game, if something isn't allowed by the rules, you ask your group about it, and they say, okay, let it rip. You just don't want to surprise the people you're playing with things like that. You don't want to surprise people with a Black Lotus.
If you have a real Black Lotus,
don't surprise anyone with
Can I please have it?
That might surprise you too if you find a Black Lotus at home. But you have elephant here, and you have elephant, elk. Just the
elk
set dressing
is so
creatures.
funny because of that one planeswalker that's like, I don't like that card. Elk. I have one card I really like is Kenrith's Transformation. It's 1 green. It's an aura, and then it turns the
creature into an elk, and they lose all of their powers. So that's
There's
an
a
iconic
lot of
one.
there's a lot of things. Generous gift.
That
That's
turns it
kinda
into an elephant.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of cards that are like that.
Yeah, for sure. Employee. Etiquette. What are these two cards? Oh man, that's a funny one.
I
gotta look that way. Yep, you have the eye creature type.
F is really short. Holy
Oh wow, F is short.
We could say all of
I
these.
wonder if this is the shortest. I'm gonna
No.
mark this.
No.
Oh, it's
Why?
not. It definitely is not the shortest. That's
Why
that's
is?
gonna be later on for sure.
Why is this
But
one?
how fairies are becoming so popular. They won't ever be an iconic because they are blue and black. But for those two
they're little
colors,
tricksters.
man, they're little tricksters. We looked up the single ferret card. Love it.
It's an adorable
It's
card.
a classic, adorable art. It just looks like a painting. Wonderful. Check that out if you. Foxes. This one.
Fox, I love all
This
the
one just has so many normal types: ferret, fish, fox, frog, fungus,
flag bearer.
and then flag bearer. Okay, so that's your job.
Fractal.
Right? So human flag bearer.
Fractal.
I'd say from these, my favorite probably
Fox.
fox. I don't know, that new frog card is pretty great.
I obviously love foxes.
Yeah, with your Vulpix here. Okay. G. There's a lot of G's.
Gamer.
Guest.
A grandchild.
I like that they added little gremlins to the game. They're little artifact eating little red monsters, and all of these creature types usually group up in a color in the game, just based on their mechanics and how they work. So if you hear me say, well, they're black and blue, that's just referring to the game color that they're in. But you got giants, you got goat, and god. You literally have and goblins, and you have goat, goblin, god.
Golem.
If that doesn't tell you about magic,
Gorgons.
I don't know. If
Gorgons.
Like, Gorgons, yes.
Those are
cool.
If you don't know what a Gorgon is, go look up Medusa.
Yes, they're really cool. And then there's iconic Gorgon in the game, Veraska. It's a main character in the story. I want to touch on this. These three right here, in this order, Goblin, Goat, Goblin, God, kind of summarizes magic.
Normal creatures, fantasy creatures, God.
God. Like,
There's just so many God cards. It's,
yeah. Wait a second.
Wait,
Did we not talk about Eldrazi and the E? We forgot to talk
we don't need to.
Eldrazi are probably one of the most well-known and most popular, divisive creature types in the game. Some people hate them, a lot of people love them, but they're based on like what? Eldritch horrors.
Eldritch horrors.
Yeah, definitely not attack, but like
They-
Eldritch horrors.
some of
and
them
they
do feel like
sit
Attack on Titan.
They sit between the space between worlds, and then they come into the world, and they don't really think; they just consume. So they're pretty scary.
So Attack on Titan.
Sure. Okay. H.
Hag.
Hag, halfling, hamster.
That's another one.
That's a good one. I like that. I love these stretches of three.
Oh, homunculus, hornet, horror. Oh no, wait.
Man, these could be like band names. But yeah, you have
Hornet horror. That's actually. Ooh.
That's a good one. Hero. Oh, I like, you got hippo and hornets and horses and hydra, hyena. Yeah, so harpy. I'd say it head.
How if I say?
Man, it's so funny.
Why'd I go to Zoom?
Hippogriff, I really like that.
Why'd I go to Zoom?
What about?
I'm losing my mind.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much here. It drives you crazy. Looking at this list, illusions, imps. And then what I like about Imp here, they have you can see the hierarchy of like the evil creatures or like the hell creatures. You have like Imp, and then Devil, and then Demons, right? So I think it's cool to see that. It's like, oh, these are all from Hell. These are things you'd see in Doom.
In Hell of a Boss. That's a really good show. Children, don't watch it.
Oh, Eye's pretty short too. Incarnation, Inkling, Inquisitor, that's definitely a job. An Insect.
Insect?
Yeah.
One of my favorite Doctor Who cards is an insect.
Really? Oh yeah, that bug thing.
Put X into it, and then when you summon it, you create X insects,
Yep.
and each insect, or X 1/1 insects, and every insect gets +1/+1.
That's really cool.
And I have thought of so many combos with that.
And insect's another one of those where you might see one or two of those every set because just insects are everywhere.
Oh,
Right.
J is really short. It's
Jeez,
3.
whoa.
Jackal, Jellyfish, Juggernaut.
Holy cow. Okay. Say that 3 times fast.
Jackal, Jellyfish, Juggernaut. Jackal, Jellyfish, Juggernaut. Jackal, Jellyfish, Juggernaut.
I'm not gonna even try. That was better than I could do. Of these, I have to say that Juggernaut. Probably my favorite.
One of my favorite Marvel characters.
What I like about Juggernaut too, it kind of feels like
That's
Juggernaut.
one of the sets we forgot to talk about.
Oh yeah, Marvel's coming out too.
2025.
2025. But it kind of actually feels like Juggernaut, the card type, because all of them cannot block. They just attack. They always have to attack and they can't block.
Of Juggernaut.
Well, they might. Yeah, anyway. Okay, K. We got Kangaroo, Kavu, which is a magic-specific one. They're weird beast monsters. Kithkin are their take on halflings or hobbits, and
We have halfling.
but that was their take before they added halflings, because they had the philosophy of, we're not going to take anything else, we're going to do our directly, we're going to try, if we can, our own inspiration. So kobolds, little dragon boys.
My deck I just built for tiny leaders has kobold,
Nice.
has the 0 drop kobold,
heck yeah.
and Yoshimaru,
The best boy.
the best boy. I may have sacrificed him to Tavish
How
Zot, Doom of
dare
Dudes.
you?
I had to, okay?
Shimar is just, the card is so great. It's a dog sitting on a throne, and you sacrificed it to a demon. You fiend.
Just Tavish Zot, okay?
I think if we look at the L's here, Leviathan's probably my favorite creature type.
Leech,
Lady.
lizard.
Yeah. Oh, and there's lobster. Lobster's
What I
pretty
would
funny.
give to just become a lizard.
And so M, that's pretty good.
Mammoth,
Yeah, it has
Manticore,
animals. It
Masticore.
has some jobs. It has mercenary, right?
Merfolk.
Merfolk. You got monk, mouse, and then mummy. And so
There's a lot
there's
of
a lot of M's, yeah. And so so we get back to this is where Naga comes in. And so we said there are 339. Well, Naga actually just very recently got changed, wrapped into the snake creature type. So
Which is
that
dumb.
drops us down to 338. There might be some changes we know of here, but
Oh, Moonfolk and M.
Moonfolk are really cool. I like them. They're
Those
on,
are
they're on
pretty good
Kamigawa. They are really pretty. I recommend checking those out. But then N, we have Ninja. Ninja's super popular, and they actually messed up with ninjas at the time, because they waited the very first set. They didn't release the ninjas with the set, and because they had a Japanese-inspired set with samurais and spirits, and people are like, where are the ninjas? And so by the time the second set came around, a lot of people were had already stopped and dropped the game. So yeah, a lot of the designers now are like, we messed up big time. We should have included the ninjas.
So
earlier."
now they make really good ninja cards, like that one that makes if you hit, it has ninjutsu, commander ninjutsu.
Yes, Yuriko.
Yuriko, and then if you hit your opponent,
With any ninja that hits one of your opponents, you flip the top card of your library, you deal damage equal to that card's mana value to all of your opponents, then you put it into your hand.
wait, because the 90-90.
Just put a 12-12 in there. But there's a lot. What people do is they'll just put high cost cards in the deck. So like 11 costs. Yeah, if Emrakul wasn't banned.
Other Emrakul.
Oh, we have oxes and oysters and otters. Orcs is a crossover. You can't have a fantasy game without orcs. I mean, come on. And oozes are really iconic to the game. There's a lot of cool ones, and they all just look like blobs.
We have 10 minutes left.
We do have 10 minutes left, but we're getting through this, and then we're going to end the episode by talking. We each have picked our top 5, but I want to kind of get through these and just do an overview here.
Phoenix for P.
P, yes. So Phoenix actually is pretty close to being an iconic for red. I'd say it's like right on that cusp because Phoenix are really popular. Obviously, they don't hit the dragon levels, the other like red flying creatures, but I love Phoenix.
But they
pirates though. Pirates.
Pirates.
And honestly, when you
probably because I like One Piece so much.
yes, me too. We definitely have bonded over that and have fought over that. You spoiler.
I'm sorry.
You spoiler machine. But yeah, if we look at the P's here, I'd say, I mean, it's a cliche answer, but pirates. Come on, it's got to be the favorite creature type. Come on, I don't know what the prism creature is.
And what the shrine creature type
I will
is.
say I really like Praetors as well. Those are magic specific creature type.
Phyrexian.
They're all very popular. So the Phyrexian and the Praetors.
Phyrexia is
Where
like
is the Phyrexian on here?
one
There
of
it
the
is,
one of the coolest creature types.
It's like the horror creature type, and it's
could be an
very
episode on
woven.
its
Yeah,
own.
we could really just talk about the lore because the Phyrexian. We should have a Phyrexian whole episode. Now
Yeah.
we're getting somewhere because they're the big bad of the Magic universe.
other than Eldrazi's.
Other than Eldrazi, but it goes Nicol Bolas, Phyrexian, and Eldrazi. Those are like the big
Yeah,
three.
Nicol Bolas. Nicol Bolas is just
It's just a really powerful
one of the
dragon.
elder dragons.
Yep. How about R? What are we looking at for R? Rat?
Rat.
I love rats.
I love rats in this game because of Rat Colony.
Yes, tell them about Rat Colony.
Rat Colony is a card that you can have as many of us in your deck, which breaks that one rule.
Yes.
But it's on purpose.
Because traditionally, formats say you can only have 4 of a card, or Commander and Tiny Leaders say you can only have 1 of a card. But Relentless Rats and a very few amount of cards say you can have any number of these
I
in
forgot.
your deck.
Tiny Leaders also doesn't have commander damage.
Oh, good. When the life totals are so low.
Yeah. But Rat Colony also says for each rat, your Rat Colony gets a +1/+1 counter.
Each
There are
rat you
commanders.
control, yep.
There are commanders that just pull a freaking Cranko mob boss and make a bunch of rats every turn.
Yes. It's really awesome.
There's a really good Command Zone episode.
Highly
It was one of the
recommend that.
fan episodes.
And I love when they do that. Command Zone, they pull in fans from their Patreon and say, hey, come play with us.
Which is why I'm going to be joining their Patreon.
Yes, dude. If you get on there, that'd be amazing. We got to do some practice if you get on there. But heck yeah, I'd say for the R, I mean it's got to be Rat.
It's got to be Rat.
Rabbit is a new addition to the
Robot.
game very recently. S, starting off strong with Samurai. People love Samurai, and this is the thing.
Sand.
I think Samurai is one of those I look at and say, hey, come try this game. I know you love Samurai.
Hold on.
Sand.
Samurai, Sand, Sapperling.
That's a fun one. I don't know what a sand creature is, though. That's
I mean-
interesting. Shaman is like very iconic to the game. Skeletons,
Where is it?
soldier.
Shark.
There's a lot of S's. It keeps going.
Shark.
Oh my gosh, shark and squirrel is very
Is it
popular.
not on here?
I really
know
like
it's
squirrel.
technically
I really like squirrels specifically because they wouldn't have been in the game unless Mark Rosewater if he didn't push for it. Because they, at the time, back in the 90s, they were like, we're a serious game. We don't do silly things like have squirrels. But he said, I want them. People will love it. And now one of the most popular cards in the game makes squirrels.
Oh yeah. Oh, and there's that one Norris, the one from the Norris set, the legendary squirrel.
Oh yeah.
Toski.
Yes.
Toski.
Yeah.
I love that card.
I love that.
But it's not
Spiders. How could we not forget spiders?
I don't see it anywhere but Shrine.
Shrine is a enchantment type, subtype.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yes.
I mean, most of those are creatures.
Yes, but it's the subtype, not the creature type.
but shrines.
Don't say whatever when I tell you the rules.
Shrines are really cool cards. I've made an entire
Don't roll your eyes when I teach you a thing.
I made a 5-color deck based entirely
Cool,
around shrines.
cool, for sure. And you have squids and spies and
Splinter, sponge,
I like
sponge boy, me bulb.
you have snakes and snails, slugs, like the setting, and then there's ship. Which is like sometimes the weird thing about how creatures work, and this is something Mark has also said he would change, is like sometimes they're just inanimate objects, right? If once we get to W here in a second, you'll see that wall's a creature type.
Oh, that makes sense though.
Which is like walls don't do a thing, but creatures do, right? So he feels like he would change
Those
that
walls are actually really good cards.
And so we got about 5 minutes here, so we have a few letters, but if we'll go to the T. I know you love Time Lords.
Time Lords.
Yes. I'm really impartial to the tree folk, just like humanoid tree thing, like Treebeard from Lord of the Rings. Turtles.
You it has 2 in it.
Oh, it has 2. Okay, that's easy.
Unicorn.
Unicorn, easy. And then you have Urzen, which Urza is a main character in the game, so obviously I gotta go with Unicorn. Vampires.
Vampire.
Yeah.
And then vampire, Vidalkin.
With a Y and vampire with an I. Vidalkin is a magic-specific race as well.
The Vidalkin Orrery is such a good card.
Villain. And the W, we already said walls, but there's walruses. Warrior is a very iconic creature type.
Wizard.
So is werewolf.
It's wizard.
Yeah, you literally have to have wizards.
Fireball.
In Magic the Gathering, you have to have wizard. So why? It's just one. Yeti. One of my favorite cards is Mountain Yeti. And then you have Zubara and Zombie. Zubara is another Magic-specific one. So we got to the end of the list here. We have about 3 minutes. Let's go. I'll go 5. You go 5, and we'll go back and forth. So what's your 5th favorite creature type?
I didn't put them in any order.
Okay. Sure. So let's just read our lists then.
All right. Start Dalek. Love the Dalek cards. Okay. There's actually some really good cards. Like the one that if you attack your opponents, or if you attack one of your opponents, you attack all your opponents.
Sure, that's awesome. For me, I have at number 5, I have either elves or vampires, but I'm probably going to have to go elves because I played them more and I've had a lot of fun. What's up next for you?
Elemental?
Elemental, question mark? I love that. For me, it's pretty basic answer, but dragons. They're just cool, and they're just so fun to play.
We love D&D.
We love D&D. Come on. Dungeons and Dragons. What's up next for you?
Fox. I love the Fox cards.
You made one of those Fox sets.
Obviously.
And so for me, I have the Mirror. That is one of the Magic-specific creature types that I just have found so wholesome and adoring. What's next for you?
Phoenix.
Yes,
those cards are
good choice.
Oh, God.
They're so cool. Another, straightforward answer. Dinosaurs, number 2 for me. And then what's the last on your list?
Shark,
really? That's fun.
Sorry. Are you saying you wouldn't want a flying shark?
Flying sharks are pretty cool.
That's like the one shark card there is, but it's such a good card.
For me, I put goblins, and if anyone knows me, I love my goblins. That is how I started playing the game.
I too love the goblin cards.
Yeah, and Krenko's good. They mass multiply. The flavor is funny, but we're at the bottom of the hour.
Did you rate your dislikes?
I did not, but I will point out here. There is a creature type of every letter except X, so keep that in mind. But we got a minute left,
can I say my 3 dislikes?
Just rip them off.
The Pest.
Pest, interesting.
And Germ. I know there's that one Germ card that's like it shows up and then it gets a suit of armor.
Yep.
But
that's called Living Weapon. But we're at the bottom of the hour. This was fun. I hope you liked this different style of episode.
That we definitely didn't plan 2 hour, 3 hours ago.
Just us kind of talking about stuff and creature types here. But I hope that what you got from this, and I want to kind of do more research on this episode like this, but what I hope you got from this is that there's a creature type from everything. They were inspired from this and this and this modern thing, and they've made their own creature types. There are animals, there's fantasy creatures, there's something
There's
for
inanimate
you.
objects.
There's inanimate objects. There's walls.
I got
And
shrine creatures.
I love that people can show up with their funniest things or their serious things. Like I made a goat deck one time, right? It's
You
just
still have that.
it's not together, but I do have all the goats. But that's it. We're out of time. So thank you all for joining us on episode 35 of Shared Discovery. If you want to tell us your favorite creature types, make sure to do that on Instagram in the comments or email us at shareddiscoveryshow@gmail.com. And we're signing off. So thank you again for joining us. Make sure you play some games, look up some creature types, be good people. I took your thing.
You took my thing.
Be nice to each other and sign us off. Do it for real.
Be good people.
Yes, thank you so much.
Don't stab anyone.
I like that too. Good advice. See you next time.